Pompous, trendy, and fashionable. Hipsters are the iconic representation of our time. Although it may seem like their zeal for independence and going against the grain originated in the 2000s, one of the biggest hipsters was born in 1913, Albert Camus. We've read his book and butchered his characters' names, but why don't we learn about the man himself? His father, Lucien, was a cellarman, but Camus did not get to know him so well because Lucien died in the Battle of Marne when Camus was just 8 months old. His mother, Catherine, on the other hand, was a cleaning woman. Camus lived with her, his grandmother, and 6 other family members in a small 3-bedroom apartment without running water or electricity. At home, both his mother and grandmother were illiterate, so he did not know how to read or write until he got to school, where he fell in love with learning and became an excellent role model student. Camus continued his education by attending the University of Algiers, and ultimately graduated to become very involved in politics. In 1936, he joined the Communist Party, but quickly realized that he did not agree with their principles. Later, he became a journalist for an anti-colonialist newspaper to write about controversial topics like the Muslims of the Kabylie region. He then settled down in Oran to become a self-proclaimed pacifist writer, which ultimately got him kicked out of Algeria for being a threat to national security. However, this was not the end, because Camus ended up joining a clandestine resistance cell called Combat during World War II, where he smuggled news of the war to the Parisian public using the false identity Beauchard. It was during this period of his life where Camus started formulating his philosophy of the absurd and the sacredness of human life. Camus' philosophy is all about the absurd. What is the absurd exactly? According to Stanford University, the absurd is when there is a conflict between the impulse to ask ultimate questions and the impossibility of achieving any adequate answer. One of Camus' works, The Myth of Sisyphus, captures the idea of the absurd perfectly. Just as how Sisyphus struggles to push his rock up a mountain just to watch it roll all the way back down every time, humans struggle by repetitively asking about the meaning of life, only to realize that there are no feasible answers. Even though Camus came up with this brilliant idea of the absurd, he did not think of himself as a philosopher. More strangely, Camus posed one of the most famous existentialist questions in the 21st century. There is only one really serious philosophical question, and that is suicide. And he didn't label himself as an existentialist. Camus was in a whole different category of his own. He didn't want to build a philosophy on a philosophical system just like Plato or Socrates did. He wanted to start a whole new format surrounding absurdity and rebellion. This same reason is why Camus did not label himself as a philosopher in his famous interview with Janine Delpech. He supposedly did not believe sufficiently in a reason to believe in a system. Surely, only a character like Camus could have fully comprehended and created a belief that the whole universe is absurd. Hopefully now you can see why I labeled Camus as such a big hipster. He didn't want to be categorized with any philosopher or any philosophy. If you think about it, Camus' philosophy is really applicable to daily life. Each and every day, every being must cope with the idea that humans are just one species out of countless ones, living on a spinning planet that is floating in a dark vacuum. The thought that we must accept the absurdity of life and we must go on living is exactly the message that Camus wanted to send out. Every human, in some point of their life, has thought, what's the point of this anyways? Is this even worth it? Well, if Camus' philosophy were to be applied to the situation, he would say that death is, as human beings, our only certainty. His philosophy would assert that all hard work and life experiences are only secondhand and parasitic. Therefore, humans must learn to live with an unfeasible emptiness, because, as curious, intelligent creatures, we cannot escape asking, what is the meaning of existence? Even if there is no answer.